To build an iOS app, you need to register in the Apple Developer Program. So head over to developer.apple.com/programs. You can enroll here. You can enroll as an individual or as an organization. Either way, you need to provide some documents to prove your identity. For example, if you sign up as an individual, you need to send them your driver's license so they can verify you. This process may take a day or two, but sometimes it happens faster. You also need to pay $99 per year. Your membership must be active if you want to distribute your app to the App Store or if you want to update it. If you don't want to update it, then you don't have to renew your membership. Your app will continue to sit in the App Store. Next, we need to go to app.json. And here in the iOS section, we need to add a couple of settings. The first one is bundle identifier. Make sure to spell it properly. We set this to a string that uniquely identifies our app in the App Store. By convention, we use the reverse DNS notation. So we can say com.codewithmosh.done with it. Of course, instead of codewithmosh, you need to add your own name because this bundle identifier should be unique in the App Store. So type an identifier and make sure not to change it in the future. Otherwise, things are not going to work. And by the way, this is just a string identifier. It doesn't mean you have to have a website up and running at this address, okay? The second setting is build number. We set that to 1.0.0. This build number is used internally in the App Store. Every time we release, we have to increase the build number. Otherwise, when we try to upload to the App Store, we'll get an error saying this build already exists. So we have this internal build number, but we also have this version up here, which is what the user sees, okay? So we add these two settings in the iOS section, save the changes. Now in the terminal, we run expo build:iOS. Here we should answer a few simple questions. The first question is about the build type. We have archive, which is for deploying the build to the store, and simulator for running the build on a simulator. We're going to go with archive. Okay, the next question is about your Apple account. So do you have access to the Apple account that will be used for submitting the app to the App Store? Yes. Next, we need to enter our Apple ID. So let's type our Apple ID and our password. All right, the next question is about Apple Distribution Certificate. Every developer can have one distribution certificate to submit apps to the App Store. Now here we're going to let Expo handle the process, so it will automatically create this certificate for you under the hood. This is much faster and easier than you doing it by hand. So let's go with that. So Expo created my distribution certificate on Apple servers. Now the next question is about Apple push notification key. With this key, we can send and receive push notifications. Again, we're going to let Expo handle the process. So let's go with that. The next question is about Apple provisioning profile. Every app on the App Store should have a provisioning profile. Once again, we're going to let Expo handle the process. It will automatically create this profile for us. So let's go with that. Okay, our build is queued up. We can monitor its status at this URL. Here's a page for monitoring our build status on Expo. As you see, our build just started. So back to the terminal, we can press Ctrl and C to exit. This will not cancel the build. We can still monitor our build at this URL. All right, our build is finished, as you can see over here. Let's download it. This gives us an IPA file. It's a package for uploading to App Store. Okay, here's the IPA file. As you can see, this package is fairly large in size. It's almost 200 megabytes, but this is not the size of our app in the App Store. That's going to be different. So when we upload this to the App Store, it's going to get smaller. I did a quick test before this video, and the size of the app was about 50 megabytes. But hey, we have a small app. Why is it 50 megabytes? Well, because by default, Expo includes a lot of APIs in this bundle, even if we don't use them. They're working to change this in the future, so only the APIs that we actually use will be included. But at the time of recording this, the only way to reduce the size of the app is by ejecting from Expo and building manually. Again, I don't recommend you to do this unless you know what you're doing. If you have built iOS apps before, then go for it, no problem. But remember, if you eject from Expo, you will lose a lot of power, a lot of simplicity. That's just my personal opinion. Do what works for you, but don't immediately eject from Expo. merely because of the size of the app. Yes, size does matter, but it's not the only thing in the world.